Alright guys, I got a 2013 Chevrolet Cruze here, and lately it's been giving me some trouble with P0420 check engine code. That code is a code that the catalytic converter puts out if the catalytic converter is not running properly. So what causes a catalytic converter to not run properly are a couple things. One, it could be that the catalytic converter is bad and you need a new catalytic converter. So that's the first thing you want to look at. There's ways to test a catalytic converter, but most catalytic converters should last at least 100,000 miles, and this car only has 80,000 miles on it. So that should, if your car has under 100,000 miles and it's in good shape, it's not going to be the catalytic converter. So what also can make the catalytic converter not work properly is if something that helps out in the process that the catalytic converter is a part of, if one of those parts go bad, that'll make the catalytic converter not run properly. So what that could be is, it could be your oxygen sensor. So your oxygen sensors, you have two of them. They call them, the first one is called an upstream oxygen sensor, and if you see this blue cord going through here, that's your oxygen sensor. So it screws down into the exhaust tube basically, and this is above the catalytic converter, and then below is the catalytic converter. So exhaust goes through here first, oxygen sensor reads it, then it goes into the catalytic converter. After that, underneath the car, there's a second oxygen sensor after the catalytic converter. So if one of those oxygen sensors go bad, it could cause that catalytic converter to not run properly, which can cause you to have a P0420 code. So I did a couple things on this car. First thing I did, I got some Catalytic. It's just this fuel filter cleaner, if you want to call it that, but it's not even fuel filter cleaner. It's made just to clean your catalytic converter. It's about $25 a bottle. I poured that in. That made the code go away for a couple of months, and then it came back. When it came back a second time, I did some more research, and I found usually if that code comes on and your catalytic converter has less than 100,000 miles on it, it's probably going to be your oxygen sensor. The oxygen sensor, and usually the oxygen sensor that goes bad is your upstream oxygen sensor, which again is this one right here, the one that's in the engine bay and not under the car. So what I did, I bought a new oxygen sensor for the car at local auto parts stores, only about 55 bucks. You just screw it off. It's got, you can see a hexagonal nut head there. You're gonna need a breaker bar to get it out. Sometimes if it sat there too long, I put some lubricating stuff on it, let it sit a little bit, and it came out. So you unscrew it there, and then you unclip it in here. This clip's a little funky, but you can figure it out how to do it. Once you get it, you'll be good. But you replace that clip, and you clip it in, and put that new oxygen sensor in, and fired it up. After 2 starts after replacing the oxygen sensor, that check engine light went away. Now, one last thing. When this code came on, the car was running fine and the mileage was not affected. But a long time ago, this code came on, about 30,000 miles ago, so around 50,000 miles, and the car was idling funny. This car should idle around 800 RPM, okay? And it was idling at about 1,500 all over the place. Mileage was affected. If you pop this cover off, underneath is what's called a PCV valve, and it's got a little hole in it. That PCV valve, air runs through it, and inside the PCV valve is a diaphragm. If that rubber diaphragm breaks, the little hole will start sucking air. So what you can do is you can pop this off, put your thumb over the hole, and if the hole sucks against your thumb, that means that the diaphragm inside there is bad and the PCV valve needs replaced. So if that PCV valve goes bad, that can affect your catalytic converter performance, which will cause that P0420 code to come out. You can replace it yourself. I'll do a video on it. If the car's idling rough, that's the first spot I'd check if you have that P0420 code. But if the car's running fine and you haven't noticed a difference in mileage, it's usually going to be this upstream oxygen sensor right here. And if that doesn't fix it, check that bottom stream oxygen sensor, and if that's not it, it's probably going to be your cap. But that's it, guys. Less than 100,000 miles. Car's running fine, but you have a P0420 code on there. Replace that upstream O2 sensor and you should be good to go. Good luck.